SportsTalk Philadelphia. I'm your new host, David Krasbowski, as we'll be bringing you the latest Philadelphia sports news from around the region. Let me introduce my panel. From the Salle Collegian, we have AJ Groy, Flyers insider Ryan Cunningham, and LaSalle Collegian sports editor Anthony Machinsky. Guys, let's get straight into it. Eagles this past week, versus the Green Bay Packers, dismal loss, 27-220. What happened to the Eagles?
The Eagles absolutely just had a bad day. I mean, they played well. It's not as bad as you really think it is. I mean, you could take the positive out of it. Aaron Rodgers was 19 for 31 with 188 yards. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and you held him for under 200 yards. He had 2 touchdowns, but he also had 2 interceptions. That's got to be the big thing you take out of today. Also going along with it, the Packers, 132 yards rushing, an awfully low amount for the Packers.
Yeah, I know. It's you look at how well the defense did play, and they did keep us in the game because all in all, they did only lose by a touchdown. But you guys, you can't get over the fact that they lost Leonard Weaver for the season. Stuart Bradley and Cobb suffered concussions. Jamal Jackson's out for the year. It's pretty terrible how the injuries we sustained the first week, and we really need these guys with the youth movement we have. We need those veterans. So I mean, what do you think? Do you think they're going to be okay next week?
They should be okay next week. I mean, all these injuries. As we'll take a look at the highlights here, we have Stuart Bradley, we have Kevin Cobb going down with concussions. 2 big vital parts of the Eagles offense. Kevin Cobb's one of them. And then before Cobb got injured, you saw that the concussion bothered him a lot. What do you think? As you see here, the highlights of Cobb getting sacked, this is where the part where he got a concussion. AJ, what do you think is going to happen next week? Is Cobb going to play?
Coming from Andy Reid, Cobb is not going to practice Friday. Michael Vick is sitting in or taking the practices, and we'll see if Cobb can come back next week. We heard that he did not pass his concussion test along with Stuart Bradley, so we'll see if they can come back.
Yeah, I mean, personally, my own opinion, as much as it would be nice to see Cobb nice and healthy back in the field next week, it is the Lions, and obviously they're not a great team. Michael Vick really, played extremely well, ran, very well for over 100 yards. He threw pretty well, and obviously he hasn't really thrown the football that much in, how many years. So, I mean, it was nice to see Michael Vick, he's really confident. Some say he might have been a little too, some pride there when he said if I would have played the whole game, we would have won. But Michael Vick really did carry the team in the second half and gave us a chance to win. So I'm all for starting him.
It's interesting, before Kevin Cobb got the concussion, we saw a lot of Vick than we used to be seeing. A lot of fans, I was at the game, a lot of fans were wondering why in the world was going on, why was Vick in it as much as Cobb was in. I ask you, Anthony, are we going to see this every game this year?
I think so. I mean, Michael Vick is a player, as all of us saw it. 2005, Michael Vick is back when he was with the Falcons and tearing up defenses. So he absolutely will play as much as he did. But I still think Kevin Cobb will get a fair share, if not more than 75% of the snaps on Sunday.
Besides some sacks from Michael Vick, I thought he was walking the ball up the field pretty well and controlling himself very good. Now, along with the Lions, Stafford, he's a backup QB. They will also be seeing him. The Eagles will be seeing him also.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's injuries like we talked about, Stuart Bradley concussion and Kevin Cobb concussion. Star fullback Leonard Weaver is out for the season, torn ACL, the worst injury I've ever seen in sports, worse than Willis McGahee when he tore his knee out. He's out for the season. I was going to put it on the reel. It was too gruesome of an injury. They signed Owen Schmidt and Garrett Mills with practice squad. Schmidt used to be on the Seattle Seahawks, so maybe they'll help at the void at fullback. Do you feel that's a factor?
I mean, it's really going to hurt because Leonard Weaver, Pro Bowl fullback, he didn't touch the ball as much as running back, but have him in the backfield, kind of be consistent like that. It's going to hurt because now all of it rides on LaShawn McCoy, and he's a second-year player. He didn't even take the full reins until about midway through the year. So it's just LaShawn McCoy is really going to have to shine for the Eagles' run game to have anything going on.
I mean, honestly, the tail of the tape really is going to be the penalties for the Eagles, though. Besides all the injuries, the Eagles had 10 penalties for 80 yards, and the Packers only managed 2 penalties for 15 yards. That's the difference in any game, in any sport, period, is the amount of penalties you will get.
Another good thing that came out of this game is that the Eagles and Packers game was the most viewed first week game of the year since 1994. Good things out there, the Philadelphia Eagles fans are supporting the Eagles, with this is a difficult year. We're in the growing stages. Everyone knows that. What do you feel about next week against the Lions, Ryan?
I honestly, I see the Eagles shining over them. We've never had a problem with them. Usually, how Philadelphia teams love to struggle against bad teams, but the Eagles will handle the Lions. It's not going to be a full gauge, obviously, without all our players that are lost to the season. But I really think it's a great idea if we just rest Cobb, let him, be totally healthy for Week 3 against the Jags. Just give him a chance to rest. It's concussion. It's bad.
I believe with both backup quarterbacks, Stafford and Vic, to start the game, I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. Whoever gets out first, since it's both backup quarterbacks, whoever gets out and scores first and carries momentum through the game, we'll look to see who can do the best.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. It's basically going to be a preseason game when you think about it. With the defenses are going to step up the most. I honestly don't see the Eagles losing this game. It's the Lions. I mean, we all know the Lions are their team that lost every game 2 years ago. It's interesting to see that. But guys, who do you think is going to be the star player to look out for Week 2 against the Lions?
Personally, someone really needs to show that he's worth anything because he had way too many drop passes. Deshaun Jackson, he did not really see himself out there. He was, he kind of running his routes or whatever, fine, but he dropped way too many passes. You just didn't see him make any flashy plays. I understand, Cobb's not there. There's no one, Vic can't throw the long ball, but it's he's really has to shine for the Eagles to succeed.
Yeah, Ryan, to back up your point, 4 catches for 30 yards, and he was targeted 11 times in the game. Deshaun Jackson did not have the game he should have. Not at all.
Exactly. Moving on to the Philadelphia Phillies now.